Hey guys, it's Ricardo with Gathering Magic, and I am here to show you guys how to open a Journey into Nyx Fat Pack. This Fat Pack includes 9 boosters, a spin down dial, dice, and several other things. Let's go ahead and open it up and take a look here. Good old protection here, using this plastic. Alright. Cool thing about this is it always doubles as a little container, so that way you can kind of carry your cards around. And it also comes with this neat little booklet. Tells you, kind of as a collector, what cards are in it, from front to back. And it has a little, I think, a little checklist, here in the back. It goes over the rarity and everything. So we got all that. So that's awesome. And we'll take that and throw it off to the side. Get these little things. Go ahead and pop them off over there. We got 2 little deck boxes here for those that play the game and need a little container for their cards after they've cracked them open in case they don't want to leave them in this little dingy box. I personally like the little dingy box. Definitely gives a lot to, to those that, don't have a container and they don't want to carry everything around and then, binder or whatever. They can just throw it in a little box once they get everything opened up. You got all these, nifty little lands in this container here. Put those off to the side. And you get 1, 2, 3, 4. A little spin down dice. So that's 9 in total. See, there we go. And we also got a little rule book kind of explaining for the new players. So let's go ahead and start busting open these packs. I will go very quickly over the commons in the sense of just kind of skipping over them almost. And then we're going to go ahead and get over to the, the uncommons and then the rares. So Grim Guardian. I really like this guy. Actually, I did a draft the other day, and people kept passing him off to me. And well, when I played an enchantment, they weren't very happy. Sigil Starfish, another really good draft card for those drafters out there. So we got Desperate Stand, Squelching Leeches, Forgeborn Oreads, and a Spawn of Thraxus. This guy is not too bad if you can find a way of blinking him in and out. He's a 5/5 dragon with flying. Costs 5 and double red, and when he enters the battlefield, deals damage to target creature or player equal to the number of mountains he or she controls. Then we got Forest and our tip card. Set the rare up there. We'll get back to it later. All right. Feast of Dreams, starting out with Cloaked Siren, very good. Lagana Band Trailblazer, Market Festival, Swiftclaw. Boop, boop, boop. We have here a Mogus's Warhound, is bestow for 2 and a red, attacks each turn if able, and gives a creature that it bestows 2/2 and attacks each turn if able. This guy's really good because he costs only 1 and a red. If you have something else that you can play, say you're playing red-white and you have this guy, you drop him on turn 2 instead of this guy, and then on turn 3 you put it on him, and then you have a 5/3 beater. It's not too bad at all. Spider Mogus, Blinding Flare, and a Dictated Crufix. As Flash, it costs 1 and double blue. It's an enchantment. And at the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. I actually saw a player at F&M playing this in what he called a Turbo Fog deck, where he kind of negated his opponent from drawing any card, or not drawing any cards, but doing any damage. And he effectively just made them draw out their deck. It took a long time, but he only had to play 1 match effectively. Not a bad strategy. There have been a lot of decks like it, but this is a pretty sweet card, not only for standard, but for EDH. I'm sure it'll find a home somewhere. And we got Mortal Obstinacy as our foil. Costs 1 white. It's not too bad, especially in limited, because it says, whenever an enchanted creature deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice this enchantment, and then you destroy target enchantment. So you can kind of get this over somebody, maybe even kill their, Dictated Crufix. So there's that. I'm going to go ahead and set those up here. And we've got a Hydra and a Mountain. Alright. Chosen Countermand, Lightning Diadem, Eagle of the Watch, Guy's Vigilance. Alright. And we have Ritual of the Returned. Not too bad. Exile target creature card from your graveyard. Put a black zombie creature token on the battlefield. Its power is equal to the card's power and toughness you know, same thing. So this card's not too bad. I don't personally like it, but the fact that you know, it's effectively any creature that's in your graveyard. It just lacks all the abilities, effectively, you know, a zombie. So not too bad a card. Leonin Island class, 3 and white, heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets it, destroy target enchantment creature an opponent controls. Very good for the guys with, you know, bestow creatures. You know, once you kill the creature, target this guy with like a Titan strength and kill the creature too. Works, you know, very well as a removal, and he's a 3/2 body for 4. It's not too bad. Blinding Flare, 1 red, striving for red. Any number of target creatures can't block this turn. Not too bad to kind of get around your opponent's stuff. Bear of the Heavens. This guy's actually pretty neat. And I only say that because there's a lot of cards in Theros that actually make him neat. He costs 7 and a red, and he's a 10/10 that when he dies, destroy all permanents at the beginning of the next end step. He's not too bad. There's a lot of ways that you can cheat him in. I mean, you can't use Whip of Erebos. That doesn't really work with it, but there's a lot of different ways. Like you can use Rescue from the Underworld. It's not too bad. If you could cheat him into play, you know, after he's died, you know, responding to the trigger or whatever, it's pretty sweet. So I personally would never be bold enough to play a deck with this guy, but he's not too bad. We got Island and Tip Card. Yeah, I wish I remembered a little bit more about the Bear of the Heavens deck that I saw on Friday, but it was very intuitive. This is pretty neat to watch play. The guy went to town on his opponent several times with just Bear. It's pretty sweet. All right, Relic of the Abandoned. All creatures get +2/-2 until the end of the turn. It's a sorcery. Not very good in my opinion. Storm Chaser Chimera. Sweet in Pack War. For those of you that don't know, we do have a Pack War series that we've started to develop, and this guy is a house. He's not too bad at all. Agent of Erebos. Not too bad. I mean, he's a 2/2 body that doesn't have a very relevant ability, unlimited of you know, standard, unless, you know, you find somebody playing a Bear of the Heavens dredge deck or something. Eidolon of the Great Revel. Kind of sad to see that this guy was printed, because for people that play Modern or, you know, even Standard, you know, there's a lot of decks that play a lot of spells each turn. A good example is the deck I played, Modern Storm. If somebody lays this down on turn 2, I have to deal with it, and I'm going to take at least 4 damage doing so, because I don't have just a spot removal for him. I don't have Lightning Bolt, so definitely might have to consider running it with this guy around. But he's pretty good for mono red. Definitely a guy to be reckoned with. Golden Hide Ox is our foil uncommon. Not too bad. Makes it so target creature must be blocked this turn if able. If you know, an enchantment or himself comes to the battlefield, he's a 5/4 for 6. Not too bad. And we got Island and a token. Yeah, Font of Fortunes. Personally, one of my favorite cards as far as a common that was printed in Journey into the Nyx. Another Storm Chaser Chimera. Nessian Game Warden. This guy's pretty good. Enters the battlefield. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of forest you control. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of the library in any order. He's a 4/5 body for 3 and double green. Definitely a good card in draft. Storm Chaser Chimera went over him. And the Spire Spine, the 4/1 that blocks each turn if able. And he bestows for 4 and a green. He costs 2 and a green as a 4/1 body. Not too bad. And then a Dictate of Erebos. This is effectively just Grave Pact with Flash. Costs 3 and double black, Flash, and whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. It's not too bad a card. I would probably play this more in maybe like EDH or maybe some kind of maybe standard deck. I personally don't play a lot of black. I'm more or less a red-white player, so when I see cards like this end of the battlefield, though, it kind of makes me a little more aware of what exactly I need to do, because I don't want to sacrifice any of my guys. It's a big bummer. We got a Plains and a Bird. All right, we got several packs left. Hopefully we open some gold. All right, Satyr Hoplite. Another Font of Fortunes. The card is amazing. We've got a Sightless Brawler, a Triton Cavalry, Goldforge Sentinel, and Revel of the Fallen Gods. For a small price of 7 mana, you can put 4 2/2 red-green satyrs onto the battlefield, and they all have haste. Personally, not a favored card of mine. Considering if it was an instant, I would like this card a lot more. But the fact that it's a sorcery, it's a little easier to play around. Wouldn't see this in play for standard. Maybe limited though. You know, dropping this could be the end of the game for a lot of different matches, especially when you have that many lands. It's probably tooth and nail at that point. So it's a pretty good card. And we got a foil rare, Aegis of the Gods. It's a 2/1 that says you have hexproof. It costs 1 and a white. This is pretty neat, especially against the burn decks, because they can't just shoot you right in the face. They have to use their removal or their burn spells on this guy before you. So very, very, like it suggests, is a shield for you. So it's pretty good. Not a bad creature at all. And we got a swamp in and another bird. We have a flock. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a flock of birds. So let's see here. We have a Satyr Hoplite, Mastiff, Font of Return, Pin to the Earth, Impressive Rays. This guy is pretty sweet. Hexproof Reach 2/1 for double green. He's probably going to see play in the Naya Hexproof deck, so that they have now 3 guys with Hexproof. Effectively, the strategy behind the deck is since your opponent can't just Doomblade this creature, you just hook them up with Unflinching Courage or whatever. You just make them really huge and you just keep beating your opponent, because the only way they're going to be able to deal with them is by blocking. So very, very good set of creatures as far as hexproof. If you're unfamiliar with the deck, we probably have one of the deck lists online, Gathering Magic. Desperate Stand, Pull from the Deep. And hey, look, we got a god. Pyrika, God of Affliction. She costs 1 and a black and a green. She's a 5/5 that is indestructible and is a creature if your devotion to black and green is 7 or greater. Otherwise, she is an enchantment. Her ability states, for a black and a green, exile target creature card from a graveyard. Its owner puts a 1/1 black-green snake enchantment creature token with death touch onto the battlefield. So if you target one of the things in your graveyard, sure, you get a 1/1 snake. But if your opponent somehow is able to target one of their creatures and bring it back into play. Going back to this guy, apparently, Bearer of the Heavens, then you have the opportunity to give him a snake instead, which could be a lot better in your favor. So then we have a swamp and a tip card. That's good. We opened some kind of justice in our packs. Hubris. This guy's actually pretty good. Very good enchantment, especially unlimited. Costs 2 and a black. It gives a creature, enchanted creature, +2/+2 as long as it's an enchantment creature. For instance, Pyrika or the Aegis of the Gods. Otherwise, it gets -2/-2. So it kind of doubles as a removal for the smaller dudes, especially against the red-white heroic decks. Thassa's Devourer, also a really neat draft card because even though it does cost 4 and a blue, its ability can be really relevant, especially if you get multiples of them. It's a 2/6, so it can block for days, and the ability states, when it or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, target player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. And seeing as most people in the limited format play with 40-card decks, and they draw 7 cards right off the bat, they ain't got a lot to work with. So if you're able to mill a lot of cards out of their deck, then you should be able to win rather quickly. And we have first uncommon, Dacra Mystic, Eidolon of the Rhetoric. If you play Modern and you're playing a Storm deck, this guy is going to be a pain in your butt. Thassa's Ire, if you pack war, this is also a pain in your butt. Hypnotic Siren. This guy has actually seen, a lot of people have wanted to play this guy. He actually placed very well in the last Star City Games event. We had a Magic player who played a blue Devotion deck using Nykthos and played a whole bunch of little any 2-drop, Tidebinder Mage or whatever. They have 2 mana symbols for blue, and they ramped really fast into this guy and took control of a big guy, maybe a Desecration Demon one time that day. Very, very valuable to have a guy like this. Definitely see some play. I wouldn't surprise if its price jumps a little bit, seeing as it's, placing very well in, higher events, for standard and competitive with REL. Last pack. Not a God pack, but, we got a Fat Pack, so that's good enough. Lagana Band Trailblazer, Market Festival, Rotted Hulk, Hubris, Pensive Minotaur, Warwing Siren. I'm not even going to be bold enough to pronounce that card. Flame Speaker's Will, Aspect of the Gorgon, Oppressive Rays. Our last 3 uncommons here, we have Interpret the Signs, We have a Storm Chaser Chimera, a Spire Spine, and Twin Flame. All right, so Twin Flame is a sorcery that costs 1 in a red and has Strive, so you can pay 2 in a red more to cast it for each target beyond the first. You choose any number of target creatures you control, and then for each one of those targets, you put a token in the battlefield that's a copy of that creature. Those tokens have haste, and you exile at the beginning of the next end step. Could be very good for some creatures. You know, Spawn of Thoraxes, you know, one of the simple rares that we cracked. A lot of good synergy there. Granted, you know, you do have to pay quite a bit for this guy, but once you do, you know, you'll at least have 7 mana. If you hit another land drop, you know, you'll be able to copy him 3 times. And, well, actually, no, you'll only be able to copy him once. Twin Flame says other creatures, so bam, bam, and bam. Playing mono red. So go to town on your opponents with that. And we have a mountain and a tip card. All right, so let's see here. Let's go over what we got. So in this Fat Pack, we were lucky enough to get 10 rares because we got a foil rare. So we got a Aegis of the Gods, a Dictate of Erebos, Pyrrhica, Twin Flame, Eidolon of the Great Revel, Bear of the Heavens, Spawn of Thoraxes, Revel of the Fallen Gods, Hypnotic Siren, there's a foil, a Dictate of Crufix. We also got all these nice little lands. I believe we got 50, if I'm not mistaken. 10 of each. So that way for you new players out there trying to build a land collection, you know, you get just a nice amount. So we got all of that. And let me see here. We got our 2 deck boxes and our spin down life tile. The 20 is going to be the set symbol. And we also got a nifty little rule book. So this is the Fat Pack here that you get. You can place everything that you got here in your nifty little box. There we go. All right, and for all you players out there, you know, getting ready to crack a Fat Pack, I wish you all the best of luck. Maybe you get, you know, maybe a better god than I did, maybe even a foil version of Pyrrhica, who knows. But for all of us here at Gathering Magic, thank you so much for watching.